Alright, so they're sent to the line now for the 5,000 meter open final for boys. Kevroy Benson of Calabar, he's right there, a medal contender. We saw him winning the 1,500 meters for Class 2 boys, but he's now up with the older boys. As a matter of fact, the 5,000 meters is an open event, so we find athletes from all classes here. And on the very outside from St. James, that's Steve Hines. That's Arimania Rogers of KC, who is in the middle there. The defending champion, Rogers of KC, will be looking to defend his title. Shamar Salmon of Stets is also in the pack. He took the bronze in this event last year. And another returning finalist. So I think one of the the Hines off. I think that is why they were smiling earlier at the start, because Hines is running barefooted. So they had looked across because he was way over in lane 8, and all the athletes were looking across. So Hines of St. James is running barefooted, and coach may just be because he feels most comfortable barefooted.
Yes, and
running this long event.
A lot of athletes used to run barefooted.
But on grass, on grass.
Well,
this is chevron.
Yes, it is. But
so this is nicer.
You know,
this is nicer.
Step on too many rocks to
it doesn't burn. It doesn't burn.
No, it does not.
No,
he seems very comfortable.
Well, he is clearly.
You know, I started my football coaching career at St. Jago High. Not certain if anyone knew that. And I had this player, Dennis Banks, that always played. They call him Stylo, one of the best I've ever coached. And he started started playing barefooted, but I said he had to put the boots on. And in the middle of a game at Sabina Park, he just ran to the side and said, "Coach, I can't take off my shoes." I said, "No, you can't."
But I tell you what, it's allowed here in track and field still. He has to be careful though, and what he's done is taken himself out of traffic, so to speak. So he's not caught with the group, at the back there now, and running the risk of getting spiked. So Ari Mania Rogers, he won the steeplechase. He's going for double gold here for KC.
And would have done a lot of 10Ks, a lot of 5Ks, a very strong runner. But there's also Vincent. And this is going to be an extremely exciting race, I think.
Yeah,
there's Lawrence there also.
Yeah. And Salmon of Stets. Salmon, he took, in fact, he was right there amongst the medals in the Class 1 1,500 meters as well. Salmon from Stets, so don't count him out.
Renata Johnson is also there from St. Jago.
Right. Here they are. You see that the barefooted Steve Hines staying with the pack from St. James. So representing the West, Steve Hines. Popular amongst the athletes here for running barefooted. You might be thinking you're the bravest amongst us. So Rogers of KC pretty much has the measure of this field, it does Rogers. 10 laps to go. I'm just taking it fairly easy at this point in time. Rogers has run well all season on the road race circuit. Put down a time of 15 minutes 07.58 last year to win the event. What he wants to do now, Coach Wilson and Gillian, is dip below that 15-minute barrier, so to speak, because the record 14 minutes 18.55 set by Kemal Campbell back in 2010 is where he needs to be. He might not be in that record-breaking shape right now, but that is the should be the main aim here. Dip below 15 minutes. Lift the standard.
Yes, I'll be very happy if he runs below 15 minutes. Few athletes have gone under 15 minutes in Jamaica at the high school level, and this would be a special run for him.
Yeah, certainly someone like Kevroy Benson is capable. He's only Class 2, second-year Class 2, but remember now he beat Rogers in his first year of Class 2 in the 1,500 meters. Rogers was gutted by that defeat. KC fans were out in their numbers hoping for victory from him. There's so much hype surrounding that event. Benson and Farquharson, well, they teamed up on Rogers and got the better of him. Rogers having to settle for the silver. So there is that another sub-battle here in the overall plot of things, where Rogers now will be saying, this is my opportunity to redeem myself against Benson. Benson is saying, well, I beat you last year in the 1,500 meters, so I won't be making you go too far from me.
Yeah, well, and I would expect that Rogers picks up the pace because Vincent has a lot of speed and he wants to make sure that he runs pace. He has run the fastest 5,000 for a schoolboy athlete in Jamaica this year. So there's no need for him to be running at their pace. So it's very important for Rogers to pick up the pace and detach himself from the rest of the field.
Well, I think they're also running at the pace that Rogers wants them to be running to. He's comfortable here. You know, I understand what you're saying, because you don't want to get too much in your comfort zone, and then there's someone like a speedy Vincent there, who is a traveler as well. So Vincent and Johnson St. Jago just having a few words.
And remember, Keenan Lawrence is also there. He's one athlete who is very determined, has a lot of experience.
You're left in the back of the pack.
Still a long time to go. Let's go to trackside for a quick interview.
Thank you, guys. Here with the Class 2 high triple jump record breaker, 15.05 meters. He jumped from Jamaica College, Apollos Edwards, breaking O'Brien Waysom's record. He didn't get it on your first attempt. I noticed from the start of champs, most of the field athletes tried to get their record on the first attempt. How did you motivate yourself to continue going and tell yourself that you could get that record?
Well, every attempt I took, I tried to push farther and farther. So on my first attempt, I didn't jump very well, but I could have done better. But every time, I push harder and harder.
Apollos, after every jump, athletes do go to their coach, and their coach give them instructions on what they did bad, how to go forward again. What did your coach say to you?
Well, he only tell me to move on my marker ups and down, and tell me to push harder and make sure I bring the record.
Thank you and congratulations, Apollos.
Thank you.
Back to you guys upstairs in the commentary.
All right, so the Ugandan international Zari Mania Rogers continues to lead the 5,000 meters open final for boys. He is the defending champion. Rogers looking to defend his title. And the bounding up there now is Keenan Lawrence. Has run sparingly this season. Had surgery. Well, that's not Lawrence. Lawrence is a big back. That's Ronald Johnson, his teammate. Lawrence is in about 6th place at the moment. I don't see Shamar Salmon of Stets either. Salmon, who was the bronze medalist last year. See him in the final here. He made the final though. Didn't turn up. Certainly showing up is Arimania Rogers of KC, hoping to give the KC fans something more to cheer about.
You know, Jermaine, I'm very uncomfortable with this pace for Rogers. I think he needs to step up the pace somewhat and try to move away from these sprinters. These guys have a lot of speed behind them.
Could it be a case, Coach and Gillian, that he is trying to move away, but Vincent and Johnson are staying with him?
I'm expecting to pick up the pace after this lap. I'm expecting to pick up the pace after this lap. He has to outpace these guys.
Yeah. Do you think at this point he's a bit surprised by Vincent and Johnson being right there with him?
Not necessarily, depending on if he's running to pace. If he's not running to pace, then he has a problem.
How difficult is that for you to pace yourself, Coach? Because does he have to go around the early laps at a certain pace, and then
yes.
How difficult is that?
Yes, he has to practice each 400 meters at a particular pace, and at a certain point in the race, he needs to know where he is in relation to time. If he's running to pace, he's not too concerned about the two other runners behind him, because he knows that he's going to step up the pace after another lap. So it's important that he understands his pace, and I think he has enough experience to come through.
Coach, what do you look amongst the seniors in the long distances? We see them often wearing timepieces, their watches, so they can check to see where they are as they go around, and not necessarily wait until they come to where the time clock is, but having their own timepiece where they can monitor the laps as they go around as well. 5 laps to go.
Yes, but I think sometimes it creates a big distraction, and they should practice in training without the watch and understand and feel the pace and know the pace.
Okay. So for some it works, for some it doesn't. Coach says, for my athletes, maybe not. And so 5 laps to go. Rogers has led pretty much from start to finish, but staying right there, literally on his heels are Renardo Johnson and Kevroy Benson. Benson, the Class 2 1500-meter winner, defending his title from last year. A smooth operator is Kevroy Benson. You can see him. He's ready for the journey. Benson. Rogers just staying right there. Coach Wilson said, well, this is the lap where he needs to make that move. 5 laps to go. He needs to just put some distance between himself and the likes of Benson and Renardo Johnson. Keenan Lawrence back there in about 4th place. And here they are across your screens. That's Rogers in the famous purple and white of KC, and the equally famous black and green of Calabar, and also the equally famous green and gold of San Diego.
You know, Julian spoke about the prey and the predator, and I'm feeling again these two young men behind Rogers, they are looking extremely comfortable. And he's taking a lot of wind in his chest by being up front. Nothing is wrong with that, but I'm just hoping that he understands his space.
Speaking of the prey and the predator, Rogers at this point, well, he hasn't been able to get away from them, so he'll be praying that he can move further away from them for sure. Rogers. But he's a fierce competitor, Rogers. Remember now, viewers, he won the steeplechase as well. So he's done the work all season. Johnson now deciding, well, let me challenge Rogers a bit more. Benson saying, well, I'm not going to be staying with you guys. I'm right here. I'm going nowhere. So it's at this point that they might be deciding on changing their strategies just to suit where they are in terms of the amount of laps left. Rogers, 15:07.58 was his winning time last year. It'd be good if he could dip below 15 minutes. Any one of these 3.
Yeah, that would be great running for high school track and field.
Because when you look when you look internationally, for instance, the World Under-20 Championships later this year, you're looking at standards like 13 minutes 24.08. This is a Kenyan, Edward Zakayeho, rather, who is the world leader for the under-20s. So that is the kind of competition they would face on the international stage as juniors once they get there.
We're way behind. Let us be very practical in terms of the long and middle distance running in Jamaica. And that is why it's important for youngsters like Rogers to keep on running and to be encouraged in terms of middle distance running. And all the others, Renardo Johnson, all the others.
He's making a move there now, Rogers. I ran into traffic a little bit with Johnson. Johnson went in front, and Rogers decided, well, no, not at this point of the race. Benson is maybe the most deceptive of the 3. He just looks quite easy there, but he has that speed too, Benson.
I think Rogers has started to pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, 2 laps. He has, in fact. But, like I pointed out before, Benson and Johnson are staying right there with him. At this point in time, they're just as well conditioned as Rogers is. And maybe Rogers, at this point in time, might be a little bit surprised compared to how he did it last year, where with the 2 laps to go last year, he was the out-and-out leader. And he may be feeling, well, I won the gold medal last year. I've been winning all season. I won the steeplechase, so I should be, a few meters at least ahead of the athletes here in the 5,000 meters. Benson now decides, well, I'll take charge of here. Ari, let me through. KC supporters getting animated. Rogers saying, hold on there now. Hold on now, my dear sir. You beat me in the 1,500 meters in Class 2 last year. It will not be so. You will not upstage me this evening. Johnson saying, don't leave me out.
Jermaine, this is what, when you play a cat and mouse game, you can get into problems. And that is why it's important for Rogers to pick up the pace, get himself out of problems.
Yeah. Cat and mouse game, indeed. Last lap to go. And who will set the cat amongst the pigeons? Because Rogers still leads. Benson's right there. Benson is just where he was in the 1500 final in his first day of Class 2 last year, and he went away from Rogers. Johnson is probably performing above even his own expectations. Rogers stepping onto the accelerator, just about some 230 meters to go. This is where Rogers usually makes his move in terms of a sprint. Benson, though, is looking very easy beside him. He's such a smooth operator, Kevin Benson. He won the 1500 meters in Class 2, defending his title. He's up against the Rogers, the steeplechase winner, the winner of this event last year. It's Calabar versus KC. It's that age-old battle here at Champs. Rogers once again being challenged by Benson. They have renewed their rivalry. Benson staying ahead of Rogers. Rogers doing his best. Benson's calling him through. Benson on his way to victory. Rogers has been beaten by Benson once again. He paid the price for that strategy, not getting away from Benson and Johnson early enough. And my, his colors have been lowered. He turned to Johnson to say, "Why did you bounce me earlier?" But that had little to do with it. As Benson, he has the full measure of Harry Rogers. And I tell you what, on any day, any street, even if it's North Street, he'll be beaten by Benson from Red Hills Road of Calabar.
I said it earlier, Jeremy, I did not like the strategy of Rogers. A great runner, Rogers is, but Benson employed good strategy also with Johnson in terms of staying right there. Rogers should have gone ahead. He has the aerobic endurance. He should have taken the lead. 3 laps to go and kept on pushing.
Yeah.
And you know, all this has done for me is to vindicate me, because I know my friends at Sol Rickson would have given me a hard time saying I got 1 point out of Champs. But excellent running by the 3 young men, and I'm very happy with their performance.
Yes, looking to the KC supporters. So, as you look back, Benson was even calling through Rogers. Rogers trying to get him on the inside, and that's always a difficult thing to do. Here's another Calabar athlete who has another lap left. He was never going to remove himself from the path of Rogers either, to make it even more difficult for him. Benson really and truly had the full measure of Rogers, stayed with him. And I think as well, Coach, and also Gillian, psychologically now, he has that full edge over Rogers.
As Coach said earlier, Harry should have taken off with 4 laps to go and really tried to stretch them. He played right into their hands by having them stick around. And you can see the pace was a little bit too slow, because Johnson tried to take the lead a couple times and Harry said, "No, I'm going to do it." And he was doing a lot of work. It is easier to chase than to lead. It's easier to chase than to lead. And that's what happened here. Kevroy Benson couldn't believe it just landed in his lap.
That is indeed how it looked.
Could not believe, like, is he really going to wait this long?
He just played in his hands.
And then you saw Harry Rogers complaining a couple times that he was bumped and he went into traffic. I don't know if he's just used to being able